Why did the kitchen break up with the living room? There was too much counter space between them.
Nice.
Some days.
Welcome to the Listed Podcast. I'm Olivia Hunsey, your local real estate agent in Wisconsin.
I'm Abra Palermo, your local Wisconsin and Illinois real estate broker with over 25 years of experience and managing broker of the RE/MAX Unites Golden Girls team. Listed is all about real agents talking real estate in southern Wisconsin, northern Illinois, and beyond. If you're interested in real estate in our region, you've come to the right place.
Hey, Abra, how was your week?
Writing lots of offers and struggling to get them accepted sometimes. How about you?
It was good. We got over some sickness and did lots of driving and got in a car accident. So
I don't know if I call that a good week. Wait a minute.
But everyone is okay.
Right.
Sometimes things like that, though, are a good reminder to just count your blessings and slow down because everyone is okay. And it's a good thing to slow down every once in a while.
Right. Amen. Because, a car can get replaced. Nobody was hurt.
You know a thing or two about car accidents.
Yeah. Been there, done that.
Yes.
I didn't come out so well. So, but again, you count your blessings and say, okay, car can be replaced.
Yep.
I'm repairable and I'll survive.
Yes.
So,
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. But it is a shocker and it is a stressful moment. And that's not the phone call anybody wants to receive.
No, especially when I'm not there and my child is in the vehicle.
Right. No, absolutely. I remember the first time my daughter had that happen and she called me and she said, okay, Mom, I'm okay. And I went, okay, wait, that is not how you start the conversation.
No, when my dad called me, he did not say that. He just said, hey, we just hit a deer in your car.
Oh, gosh.
Like, okay.
No, next time Dad preface it when we're all okay.
Yes.
So I don't have a heart attack.
Oh, yeah.
Right, but everybody's okay. So, and you've had a bunch of buyers out looking also.
Yes.
So I know you're also struggling
Things have
with.
definitely picked up.
Yep.
The spring market is definitely here.
Yes.
And people are ready.
Right. People are looking
Bring
as soon as something comes on the
weather.
market.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Definitely.
It's like, can we look at this today?
Right.
And sometimes, yes, but.
Right. But they have to because it's probably going to go in a couple of days,
Oh, yeah.
right?
So my sister's been looking recently and the top 3 houses that she likes, she sends them to me. I mean, she's in Iowa, so I've just been helping her along the way, but then they all go pending within 24 hours, and that's similar to what we're seeing here, too.
Right. Seems like everywhere in the Midwest, especially in the affordable areas, definitely things are going quickly.
Yes, and especially in the range of 150 to 350,000, where that's everyone wants that type of house, so they're just flying off the shelves.
Right, absolutely. And like you said, it is really that price range because certain price ranges, they sit a little bit longer in that top, 10, 20% of the market. But then, that mid-range stuff, boom, they go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so spring market has definitely sprung.
Yes, absolutely. We've talked before about how you don't know what you don't know. And when I've interviewed brokers, here are some tips I would give other people considering real estate. So when you're interviewing other brokers, there's a lot of things that you don't know till you don't know. Mm-hmm. And when I first joined Abra's team, I knew the difference between being an independent agent and having a team. And a lot of people maybe don't know the difference between that or just think everyone's on their own, which can be really scary because you pay a lot of fees up front and you don't have a lot of money coming in. So just asking the right questions and knowing, I guess, what kind of support you are gonna have and what kind of team you're putting your energy into is super important, and what you're getting out of that is obviously more important. I would recommend asking if you can just shadow. I know, like, before I even went to college, I shadowed with Abra, and I had no idea what the day in the life of a realtor was, and just seeing, like, okay, how do we get ready for showings? What kind of things do you prep? What kind of things does your team require that you do?
I think that was one of the benefits that, I would really tell people is to go do the shadowing because, like you mentioned, you had an idea of, at least some idea of what's an independent agent versus what's a team.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't even have that idea, right? You take the real estate class and it doesn't even talk about that stuff. And so, and you even went to college learning, property management and real estate and things like that, and still came out going, okay, I don't know any of this.
Yes. Yeah. I think, and every team runs, even a team versus an independent agent is different. But then just looking at just teams, what you get out of a team is a lot different than some other teams. And I think I mean, you can jump into something and not even know. Thankfully, I jumped into a good thing, but some people might not jump into a good thing because I don't even think I probably asked all the questions I should have when I joined. But
and you asked a lot of great questions.
Yeah, thankfully, it was a good thing, but it might not always be that way.
Right.
And you could get into something that you're like, ooh, I don't really know about this. So I think definitely, obviously, you want to ask about specifics like with your compensation and that kind of thing, but that's not all of it. That's just the first part of it. You know, what's required of you for social media, what's required of you for just your presence and what kind of events do they do and how are you going to get supported and that kind of thing.
Right.
And yeah, so many questions.
Yeah. And I think, you know, again, you shadowing also helped you to add some of those questions that you would have never had any idea. Because like we said, you don't know what you don't know, right?
Right.
So, and I think also that, you know, time of spending some time around the team and just knowing, because like you said, every team runs differently, just like every company is different, just like every independent agent, because you are all independent contractors. So at the end of the day, everybody runs their business, you know, their own way. But you also can find those people that are the right family and the right fit for you. And you know that you have, you know, that camaraderie, that support, you know, that friendship and that team. Because I also know other agents who have gone and interviewed brokers and the broker said, oh yeah, we have this training system, we have these things, but then it's just a bunch of videos that you sit behind a computer and watch. It's not actual hands-on. It's not the shadowing. It's not the mentorship.
Yes,
you know, it's not
and
the same.
hands-on is so important. Definitely sat on a Zoom or something and you're not as involved because you're not on the computer doing it with other people and like you can just kind of, it's easy to space out or easy to pick up your phone or whatever.
Right, absolutely, because, you know, you've taken even classes or, you know, you've been on, sure, we can learn about the CRM watching a video, but until you get in there and touch it and actually have a contact to add to it or have, you know, mailing to do out of it or something like that, it doesn't really make sense until you can go in there and actually set up the search for someone or, you know, actually hands-on use it. Sure, I get the concept, but it really doesn't help until I can actually go touch it and feel it. So
not as extreme as this, obviously, but it's like a doctor doing their school online and never touching a patient. Like you don't want to work with somebody who has only been doing things on a computer or watching videos like that. Right. That's probably not the best.
Right. You conceptually know what it's supposed to do.
Yes. Right. And then you're never going to know everything. I mean, every deal and every contract's different, but the hands-on, like definitely expedites your learning so much.
Yeah, absolutely. And because every deal is different, every house is different, every situation is different, every financing is different. It's all so many different terms. And the market changes all the time too. You know, like we were just talking about. Seller's market versus, you know, spring market versus fall market or you know, whatever season we're in too. Yeah,
absolutely. I think, and back to like interviewing your brokerage or the team and like shadowing. I remember like when I would shadow with you, just like listening to the way that you like answer certain questions or the, like when we go down to the basement and you point out what things are, like you can't really get that kind of learning online. Like it's so important to just get in the house and go to the places you don't want to go and really sit down and just, like I remember that one day we all went to the basement and you just like walked us through like what everything is. And like that is just, you can't really learn that online.
Right. Absolutely. And the construction of a house is a whole different class and lesson. And we have so many different ages of homes around here. Might be working at a 100-year-old, 120-year-old home or something, or you might be looking at a house that was built 10 years ago.
Or a house that's just built today.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So very different.
Let's get started and take a look at this month's national real estate news. Trump nominates Kevin Warsh for Federal Reserve Chair to succeed Jerome Powell. President Donald Trump has nominated Kevin Warsh to replace Jerome Powell as Federal Reserve Chair, marking a major shift at the central bank after years of public tension between Trump and the Powell-led Fed. Warsh, a former Fed governor with strong Wall Street credibility, is expected to support near-term rate cuts, though markets don't anticipate dramatic policy changes. The nomination comes at a sensitive moment, with inflation still above target, the labor market cooling, and growing debate over Fed independence amid political pressure from the White House. Warsh now faces Senate confirmation, setting up what could be a contentious battle over the future direction and autonomy of the U.S. monetary policy. We are seeing Fed rate changes not affecting mortgage rates. Why is that?
So, you know, I've talked to a lot of people about this recently because they'll say, I heard the rates went down. And then you talk to a mortgage broker and they're like, no, they actually didn't. And I think a lot of it is based on the long term of where the mortgage brokers actually see the rates being long term. So even though the feds are trying to lower it a little bit now, they're looking at the economy as a whole and saying, okay, first of all, they have to all make money, right? At the end of the day, by the time the feds get paid and the brokers get paid and the mortgage company gets paid and the servicer gets paid and all these little, entities out of that, they really, really are struggling, dropping below 6%. A few of them I've seen like 5.95 or something. They're trying to just, ease under that. Or what am I trying to say? They're trying to inch under that number a little bit. But I'm still seeing mortgage brokers saying, look, it's just not going to go down much lower because we just can't plan on the long-term rates that the feds are going to have to really get us lower.
Do you think that also has to do with just like how the market's so different in different areas of the world or the U.S., I guess?
So I feel like some of the mortgage rate issue is that the banks and the mortgage companies are seeing, okay, the feds lowered the rate a little bit, but still their cost is what their cost is. The mortgage broker has to make something, the loan officer needs to make something, the bank itself maybe that sold the loan, whatever. And just the overall cost of that long term of that mortgage, I think they're saying, long term of the economy too, they really can't afford to go much lower.
Everyone's got to get paid.
Right. Everybody's got to get paid. There's a lot of costs in all this. And there's a lot of long-term costs in all this and a lot of long-term risk. Mm-hmm. The only ones that I'm seeing a little bit lower are the federal loans like VA and FHA and that kind of stuff. But we also don't want the government to be backing all of our loans.
And not everyone qualifies.
Right. And not every house qualifies too. Some of our older homes especially, they might not pass FHA or VA and some of those things with peeling paint or, an older furnace or, different things like that. Or something that's not working. The furnace isn't working or the well isn't working or,
right.
Whatever. So it's a lot of combination of things. And I get that they really want to spur the market by lowering the rates. But in our area where the market is already crazy, do we really need to spur the market?
Right. But that's what I was going to say. Do you think it is different in different parts of the country? Because our market is definitely different than the market in California and Florida. Right.
Absolutely. And I think, too, some of these people making these rules or seeing the economy or seeing what's on the news every day that the market has slowed. And well, that's East Coast or West Coast or, like you said, Florida or some of these markets where other markets are just going crazy.
Right.
Especially all of the Midwest where it's more affordable. Mm-hmm. So yeah, if you listen to the news, then the real estate market's terrible. But then we'll talk about more later, like with the stats in our market area, it's just, craziness of properties going on the market and off the market, so quickly.
Yep. Redfin debuts its home search app in ChatGPT. Redfin is expanding its AI push by launching a new app within ChatGPT that lets users search for home listings through a conversational interface. Buyers can explore MLS listings, refine criteria in real time, can ask follow-up questions about neighborhoods, commute times, or features like pools and fenced yards, all without restarting their search. Will this change the real estate industry and the search landscape?
I think so, don't you?
I agree.
Yeah.
I think ChatGPT has already replaced Google in a lot of ways.
Right, absolutely, because the difference you get from the chat search to the Google search is just night and day, right? I know Google is trying to add more of their AI, and you're starting to see more of that, but I think ChatGPT was ahead of that.
Oh, yeah, it gives you answers you didn't even necessarily ask questions to, but you maybe should have asked.
Right, absolutely. And I do think that people are searching a lot more for the features in a home. They're looking at the fenced yard, the size of the yard, the location, to schools and neighbors. And so especially as people move all around the country where people don't necessarily have to live in a certain city, I think that really people are looking at the whole home and the whole neighborhood, not just a price in bedrooms or bathrooms.
I agree.
Yeah, pet friendly even, or, proximity to a running, safe neighborhood to run in. I remember that was something, I had somebody look at recently.
Yeah, there's things you can ask ChatGPT that you really can't even filter on
Correct.
the MLS. And it's like, it's so much easier to find what you want.
Right.
Just asking a simple question through ChatGPT.
Right. But that also makes a difference for us as listing agents to make sure that we are putting those things in there that people are looking for. And so, if it's somebody looking for a main floor living or a main floor laundry, those things are very, very important now because chat's going to be looking at all those things we have in our remarks and notes.
Because it's getting its information from what the listing agents are putting in there.
Right. And sometimes the listing agents' descriptions are just very flowery, let's say, and they're not always really feature based.
Right.
And there's kind of a fine line. You don't want to just be all features, but you need to have, you need to have some of that other description.
Right.
And pet friendly is huge for people. Some people aren't having children as early, and so their pets are their kids.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
I even had a client that was looking at a house, and like we couldn't even tell from the description or the pictures that it was a split level, and they had no idea until we actually looked at it that it was a split level, because the pictures didn't show it. It didn't say it in there. I mean, you could kind of tell from the look of the house, but it was kind of like, where's this room at?
Right.
Like you just didn't really know.
Right, absolutely. And a lot of people don't want to waste their time. They want to see more of a floor plan or a video or some kind of tour of the house, so you can tell, how's that room connected to that room?
Yeah.
Where does that room go?
It doesn't always make sense. You can look at pictures and you're still like, oh, when you walk into a house.
Right. And you don't want people to be surprised in a bad way. You want them to be surprised in a good way.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's very true. Like sometimes I'll have this debate with a seller who they'll say, well, I have a fourth bedroom. No, you have an office, not a fourth bedroom. I'd rather people walk in and be surprised that there is this fourth room.
Yeah.
They can make it a bedroom if they wanted, but if it's missing a closet or it's missing a window.
Non-conforming.
It's non-conforming. And so
Yeah.
I don't want people to be disappointed when they walk in, because if they have 3 children or 4 children or whatever, that's not big enough for them.
And it wastes your time, it wastes the realtor's time.
Yeah, everybody, is disappointed then, you
Yeah.
know, so why do that? But like you said, put in the description, it's a raised ranch or it's a split level or it's walkout or not, all those things, because different age person's going to look at a split level versus a 1-story or a 2-story or, whatever. We talk about that all the time when we're pulling comparables for a house.
Yep.
We've talked about that of, you don't pull a 2-story and then a ranch. Those are 2 completely different buyers.
Nearly 2/3 of home buyers scored a discount in 2025. Home buyers are gaining negotiating power, with nearly 2/3 of buyers in 2025 paying below list price and scoring the biggest discounts in over a decade. According to Redfin, buyers who negotiated paid an average of 7.9% under asking, the deepest discount since 2012. Condos saw even steeper price cuts as raising HOA fees and insurance costs cooled demand. With inventory rising in many markets, especially in parts of Florida, single offer scenarios are becoming more common, giving buyers more leverage. After years of bidding wars, the market has clearly shifted, and affordability pressures continue to force sellers to price more realistically. This, however, is not our real estate market. Why is that?
Completely not our real estate market. We just last month did stats, and at the very best, people got 5% under asking price last year. And we're going to talk about our numbers here shortly. And that was not our market even last month, let alone, last year. But like it said, that's Florida's market. Like we were talking about earlier, that's California's market or East Coast market, not here at all. And I think this is part of the struggle we're having with buyers who want to come in and offer $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 under asking. They're listening to these headlines, right?
Yep.
And so it's such a struggle because this is national. This is national averages. This is big markets with big cities and big numbers. So it's definitely not our market at all. It's such a struggle because people aren't seeing what our local numbers are and aren't seeing, what those local stats are. It makes a huge difference to know what your local market is doing.
Yes.
So, it's inventory, right? I mean, supply and demand. Everybody learned that in school, right? Economics 101, supply versus demand. And our supply is this, and our demand is like this. And how many of us have a stack of buyers and one house to look at, 2 houses to look at, maybe,
Yeah.
So, and we talked earlier, spring market has sprung, and here we are with, what'd you go show 3 houses in one day, and like that's all you had.
Yep. And then they do find one they like, and it's gone.
It's gone. Right. And I was talking to somebody the other day, and she said, "Well, do you think we need to start on our pre-approval?" Absolutely, you need to start on your pre-approval right now, because when we find the right one, if you don't have that pre-approval in hand,
you're out of the running.
Yeah, our offer is just not even going to get considered. We're not even going to be in the ballpark. They're just going to say, "Nope, we just shoved this one to the side." So it is such, poor information, I guess, and I wanted to talk about this headline, even though it's not our local market, just so we could talk about this is not what's happening here.
The contrast. Yeah, yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, it is such a difference.
We'll be right back with a look at our regional market updates. All right, let's jump into the regional market update. Last month in Greene County, 22 homes sold with an average sales price of $358,818. A few deals are happening with the average list price to sales price at 92%. The average days on the market were 88 days. Still a seller's market with only 45 homes for sale in all of Greene County.
Isn't that crazy though? 45 homes for sale and 22 sold last month. So yes, a few deals happened, but that's just still not enough inventory. I mean, like we've been talking about, supply and demand, not enough homes for sale versus how many buyers are out there. So that month, I think a few sat on the market a little longer, and Greene County, Monroe, maybe that was something seasonal, just wintertime, being a little colder and things like that. Or just maybe, not the right homes. Maybe they were a little overpriced to begin with. But I think when you look at overall, still, it's still really a strong seller's market with, barely 2 months of inventory. So I think things will definitely still continue to be a hot market and going up as far as prices.
Yeah. Last month in Rock County, Wisconsin, 107 homes sold with an average sales price of $307,194. The average list price to sales price was also 97%. The average days on the market were 45. Very much a seller's market with only 256 homes available in all of Rock County.
So yeah, there you see 97% from list price to sale price. However, a lower asking price. So it was interesting that, or lower sales price.
Sales price.
Yeah, so interesting that their market is a little more affordable, and maybe that's why Greene County's been a little bit slower, and some people getting some deals because their prices are so high.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean 3% under asking price, that's the only difference people are getting at the most, and that's not on every deal. Some of them have been an asking price or more, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's amazing with, less than 3% off of a purchase price that people are getting. And then, again, you look at this low inventory, it's barely over 2 months of inventory. So I still see prices continuing to go up, still in a seller's market, still, like you've talked about, still seeing multiple offers.
Yeah.
So
I've had to talk a couple buyers lately out of like lowballing their seller because they think they can get some crazy deal and
right. Well, again, they're listening to the national news.
Yeah.
So, they're hearing that nationally. Oh, people are getting deals. Prices are going lower than they've gone in, a decade?
2012 or whatever.
Right,
yeah.
right. And here we are saying, no. And then getting them to trust and believe us, right? Because, then they're just like, oh, well, you don't know what you're talking about. Or you're just, telling me that. No, I'm really not. I'm not just making this up. I promise.
Yeah.
So these are the stats to prove that, right?
Yep. Last month in Winnebago County, Illinois, 164 homes sold with an average sales price of $227,925. The average list price to sales price was 96%. The average days on the market was 29. An even stronger seller's market with only 250 homes available across Winnebago County.
Wow. So you just crossed the line we were in Rock County from Janesville to Beloit, and you just cross over the line and the price dropped $90,000.
$90,000.
Right. But then 29 days on market. So that tells you that things are really flying off the shelf and going crazy. And I'm sure you've seen this. Some people are crossing the border because like, look, I can't afford 350 or 310 or, whatever it is. I can afford 250.
Yeah.
For 220.
I see both. I see people crossing the border from Wisconsin to Illinois because it's way cheaper, but then I see people coming down from Madison and, the Janesville, Greene County, all that area is really affordable compared to Madison. So it's kind of like what you know and what you're going into is.
Right, absolutely. And there's people come from other states and who are paying cash for something here because they cashed out of that equity there and their equity was 250 or 300,000 or whatever. So it is so different.
So they think they're getting a deal.
right, absolutely. And it's location, right? I mean, it is so different in every different area. Yeah, it just makes such a difference. But those numbers to me were just very shocking when you were like, oh my gosh, 29 days on market. And that's barely enough time to get your loan closed. I mean, that is just, by the time you do your inspections, you get your appraisal done, the lender is like, and again, why they have to have their pre-approval done, and hopefully through most of underwriting, because that is quick.
Yes. We're going to take a quick break before we are joined by our community guests of the month. Today, we're joined by Amanda Schwartz, a mortgage loan officer with Blackhawk Community Credit Union in Janesville, Wisconsin. Amanda brings more than 13 years of experience across multiple areas of the credit union, giving her a well-rounded perspective on helping members navigate their financial journeys. With over a decade of experience and deep roots in your community, what are you seeing from buyers right now in terms of their biggest concerns?
Affordability. I think right now the housing market is just kind of spiked up a little bit, right? So finding a home that is affordable for them, it's tough right now with the inventory that's out there. I think it is starting to pick up. It's looking a lot better where stuff is coming out that is more affordable for especially like first-time home buyers and such. But I think right now
we were just talking about that. Like there's just not enough inventory. So even if you find something that you like that is in your price range, then you're competing with 3, 4, 5 other buyers.
Exactly.
And then there's a bidding war going on. And then all of a sudden it's out of your budget now.
Exactly. It's like there's this key market price point that everybody wants to get in at. And if you're above that, you're sitting for a while, no matter how wonderful the house is, or, under that, if it's not, people want to put work into it, those will fly off, but not necessarily that middle range market. So
how early should someone talk to a lender before they start house hunting?
As soon as possible. So I think a lot of people start looking at homes because they're like, hey, let's, we want to buy. And then they get all excited about all these homes that may or may not be in their price range period. It's a little deflating then when they actually start to go look. It's not as it's fun of an experience for them.
Yeah.
So I say the earlier the better if you're thinking about it, even in the next year or so. I think that's one thing I know I like to take pride in is guiding people into that direction to buy a home, not necessarily just coming in, getting a pre-qualification and going. Like the steps it takes a year or so in advance to get prepared to get into that home.
Yeah, I think there's a misconception. I think sometimes people think, let's look at the house and then get the pre-approval, which really, especially in this market, you really should be talking to a lender well before you're even looking at a house.
And I think, now talking with some members that have come in, they're like, well, I talked to my realtor, but they said I had to come to you first. And I think that's where, we're jiving together, to make it the better experience for the buyer.
Yeah. I think a lot of times people think that realtors don't want to work with you if you don't have your pre-approval, but it's not that we don't want to waste our time. It's that we want the best what's for you. We don't want you looking at these $300,000, $400,000 houses when you can only afford something that's $200,000. We want your best interest in mind.
Exactly.
And like you said, to make the experience less deflating and not.
You go out there and you look and you're like, oh, I'm just going to have a junk for a home. It's, let's start with a positive aspect on it instead of going in and
Yeah, absolutely. What does being financially ready really mean beyond just having a down payment?
So I guess that going back to the last question, having a savings, right? Or starting like a little bit ahead of time besides just coming in to get a pre-qualification, right? I want to go buy a home this week. Buying a home, you have to savings and knowing that it's going to cost more than just getting into it. Okay. You're not renting, your furnace goes out. You don't call your landlord and say, hey, you got to come fix this, right? You need to be able to know, like, you are going to be able to afford your monthly payment and afford some things that life's going to throw at you. Mm-hmm. And that's, I guess, more of the financially ready status we would want you to feel comfortable in. When we do qualify people, we put them, some people may say, well, I can afford more than that. And I'll be like, but can you? Let's talk about.
What if you lose your job?
Right.
What if you get in a car wreck? What
you're going to have to get a new car. You don't have a car payment right now. You might have to add a car payment. Mm-hmm. Would that jive into this ratio of your monthly payment and then you having 17 cents to eat ramen noodles for a week? Things happen all the time. And with your home, being a homeowner, too, it's like, oh, this, now that.
Things happen and they add up quickly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
it's not just changing light bulbs. It's a lot more than that.
Right. And I don't know. This probably shouldn't say this, but even just like power bills and it fluctuates, the water bills, everything like that. They're, you got to be able to afford that and pay your taxes and do all that and not just pay your monthly mortgage payment.
Right.
So kind of guiding them through that and having them understand all that comes into it. Homeowners insurance, another thing, right?
Yeah. My husband and I recently bought our first home, and you have your down payment, but you also have other closing costs that you also have to take into consideration. And just because you have this down payment, you're gonna have more closing costs than just that too. So taking that into account.
That's something, people like shop around, like, what do you got for closing costs? And a lot of places are pretty similar. It's a lot of I'll be honest, it's a lot of vendor work that we have to get and appraisals and stuff like that. It's not even, there might be an origination fee and stuff like that. For every place to
there's going to be closing costs no matter where you go.
And all that stuff. But ultimately, somebody comes in and I say, okay, you have 10,000. Now let's look, you're going to want to have at least, 3,000-4,000 for closing costs. Like, just think about that, because I have all this, I could throw it all down and make it it's, I like
and then you're going to drain your entire bank account. And then what?
And then what? Yeah. You get into the house, you're going to want to do renovations. You're going to want to paint, you're going to want to get the carpets cleaned or whatever. You're not going to want to move in and be like, okay, now we have to sit and stare at the walls of somebody else's home. Furniture.
And,
right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Toilet paper. Right. For your new 13 bathrooms you're going to have them. But yeah, stuff like that. So
yeah. Are you seeing more first-time buyers or repeat buyers in today's market?
I'm going to say it's becoming a good mix of both now. For a while, I felt like it was a lot of just first-time home buyers that were coming to visit to get pre-qualified because they didn't have the choice of having a home that they purchased back in our COVID days when they had that 2.993% interest rate, right? Well, I think people are kind of getting out of that fear of moving on. And that's where I'm hoping that this inventory will kind of pick up too for everybody. But people are outgrowing their homes and they're deciding like, we can't leave because I have this low interest rate, which I get, but is it worth living uncomfortably for that? Like you learn that you're going to marry the house, not the rate eventually. So I think it's starting to kind of be a good mix.
Yeah. Right.
For everybody, I think it will be good with inventory.
Especially now, I think people have seen the interest rates drop below 6 here and there. That's a big
promising.
Yeah.
And we're hoping they're going to continue that way. We'll see though.
Fingers
it
crossed.
is. You never know. You never know. So you got to do what suits best for you. And even coming in and just having conversations about like what what would this look like with a payment at this rate? You might be surprised that what you could afford even when people think they can't.
And a lot of people that have those low interest rates probably were able to put a lot more into principal, and maybe they have a lot more equity in their house than they think they do. And that goes with you. So
exactly. 100%. Yep.
How do credit unions differ from big banks when it comes to mortgage lending?
I think it's mostly like with Blackhawk, especially being so local and being in the community. So it's more of a one-on-one experience, coming in, talking about, being financially ready and having a game plan if somebody's credit isn't where it needs to be and having a goal in mind, setting them up for success, right? I think, not that big banks can't do that, but I think we have a little bit, more of a touch to it where you're going to feel, what's the word I'm looking for? More comfortable coming in and having those conversations with somebody that might be your neighbor or you worked on with your auto loan for, or I opened my first savings account with you, or, it's...
Well, you're people that are living in the community every day.
Yes, and understand, kind of been through the same thing you've been through, right? I think, too, loan-wise, we kind of we have more of a gray area. Okay, we have in-house underwriting, so our underwriter is a phone call away, and we can have conversations on a loan. Okay, it's not just nope. This is how it goes, cut and dry. It's more of like, okay, well, this is the situation that happened. Is there something we can do to rectify this issue and make it so we can get this person into a home?
Yeah, more wiggle room.
Yes. So that, and just having the portfolio loans that we can hold in house and not have to worry about, maybe a weird thing happened in your life, like medical issues or something like that. You're off work for a little bit. Let's look and see the reasoning why. And
it's not just black and white.
Yes, it's not black and white.
Can't help you.
Yep. And I know, we service our loans through the life of the loan. So we don't sell them. So if you have an issue and you want to refinance 5 years down the road, you're coming in and you're talking to us or our servicing team that's right at the counter at our Court Street main branch.
Right.
So
get to know your clients a lot more, your members.
Yep.
What is one small financial move that can make a really big difference in loan approval?
Starting credit early. So debt is a scary thing. Credit cards are a scary thing, right? You kind of grow up hearing, oh, that's bad. It's bad, but it's good. You can't build a credit score without having some debt. So a lot of kids, even when they come in and open memberships, and they're teenagers and they're starting work, I used to do that, open new accounts, and we would talk to them about, once you get a job and you can afford, and when you turn 18, getting a small credit card, paying for gas, paying it off every month. You got to start building that history because you can have all the money in the world. Sure, you can buy things, but when it comes to something that you might need lending for, credit score is
huge.
It's huge. So, it's not even just with even insurance. There's so many things nowadays that credit can affect on what you pay.
Yeah.
So starting off, building it early.
You don't have to go buy a car right away on your credit card, but like you said, treating it like a debit card, buying your gas and paying it off that every month. Just not
flying off the handle and getting 13 credit cards, right? Get maybe your favorite store card and you know what I mean, and pay it off every month. And then just a local financial or your bank that a credit card with them. So you know that it's going to be easy for you to make payments and check your balances to make sure, but that I think is huge.
Yeah. In a market with higher rates, how are you helping buyers stay confident and competitive?
Well, we're telling them you're marrying the house, dating the rate. Essentially, knowing that you're going to get into the house that you want affordably, right? Being confident and moving forward with that, but not being worried about, oh, well, what's the rate going to be? What should I lock now? Should I do this? It's always going to fluctuate, and not to worry, right? Like you got to do what's best for you. You live one life. Let's get you where you need to be, and we can figure it out down the road to hopefully get you in a better, spot with the rate. But we're not going to put you in something with a rate that you can't afford anyway, right? From the get-go. So I think letting people know that there's always a way to get a lower rate makes them feel a little bit more comfortable. I feel like some people, especially first-time home buyers, they hear their parents talk about, they're younger and they're like, I don't really understand this. I just hear that rates are, the rate makes or breaks things. And I'm like, not necessarily, right?
Yeah.
Like people refinance all the time.
Right. That's what we were telling buyers, the same thing, that you're not married to the rate because everyone's waiting for the interest rates to drop. Okay, well then let's say we're even seeing this now, they're dropping and now you're competing with 5 other buyers and you're paying 20, 30, 40, 50 grand more for the house. Like that money you can't get back. You can always refinance down the road. You can always help yourself later. But once you pay that, you're paying more for the house than anyways.
Exactly. So, that's exactly it. So
as a first-time mom, how are you juggling that with your career?
It's taken me a little bit. I'm not going to lie. I guess now that we're picking up a little bit more, spring's coming. So, and the rates are dropping as we talked about. I'm finding myself, after working different hours, like later at night and stuff where it's challenging when you have a little one at home. I want to spend the time with him. He's only awake till 7:30, so then it's like, finding that balance, it has been challenging. And I feel for parents before being my first, now just realizing it. But it's working fine. I'm finding I'm learning how to manage my time better throughout the day. And, and I know with your line too, you're kind of always on call. So even on weekends and stuff like that, somebody needs an updated letter, like a pre-qual letter, pre-approval.
Sometimes they need it like that day. It can make or break a deal. You know?
We've had to work on weekends and log in, and it's nice that I can work from home. So that's 100%, made it a lot easier for me if I need to, but I wouldn't change it for the world. I'll put it that way. So having him has been the greatest thing ever. So it's good. It's going. How about for you?
Yeah, it's good. I always think like, wow, I feel like my 24 hours have changed a lot.
Yeah.
Like I used to have a lot of time, didn't I?
Naps. Remember when you could take a nap?
A nap and just have a slow morning.
Yeah.
And like you said, my time management has definitely gotten a lot better, and you learn how to get a lot done in 15 minutes.
You bet. You bet. Your multitasking skills are on point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But same here. I wouldn't want it changed for the world, and working from home has been the biggest help for me. And I thankfully so far I've had really understanding clients, and just take her with me if I need to. And yeah. We both love CrossFit and just health in general. And how has your health and just living a healthy lifestyle made an impact as a mom and in your career as well?
Well, I think it's helped me keep going. I mean, last week we had a little bit of the sickness, that was going. I think like everybody's been.
Yeah.
And honestly, I still made it to class a couple. I feel like it makes me push, get it out of my system. I mean, it makes me keep going and kind of push through the feeling not well because you gotta, right?
I think for me, just like it helps me so much with my schedule, and just like I know I'm gonna give my daughter better, my husband better, my job better when I feel good. Like doing something for me every day is so important. Like I love it. It's my favorite hour of my day, and I just show up better for my family when I feel good. And having just the community at the CrossFit gym, like everyone, there's pregnant people, there's people who are going through divorce, there's people who are going through loss, and just having a community of people that you can kind of all just be there together and go through life together is so important. And again, just makes me feel better, and then I show up better for my family.
I 100% agree. I've used my lunch hours to go to, if I don't have time at the end of the day or whatever, to go and work out just in that hour to just get that serotonin release and be like, okay, it does help me clear my mind too. It kind of sets you might be stressed out with, a situation of some sort going, and it kind of just erases all that, and it
gives you more patience.
Yes, it is my time away, and it's your time, which is very important. And figuring out, that's one thing I have, and even my husband has kind of kicked me out the door and said, go do something for yourself.
Yeah.
Because you just want to be with your baby. But he's like, you need to go.
Well, and for you, like you're needed at work.
Right.
You're needed by your husband. You're needed. Yep. You're needed at you're needed at work. You're needed by your husband. You're needed by your child. And like, and
my dogs, the 2 dogs.
Yes, and your dogs.
They're very needy.
Exactly.
They need their walks as well.
Right. And same for me. I'm home all day with her, and like I do bring her to the gym sometimes, but it's still I just like need to do something for myself.
You bet. It is. And it's really nice having that community and just being able to kind of let free. And even when you do bring the kids, like, or Britt or anybody brings the kids there, it's fun for me to see them and get to know them. And, and we all come from different cloths, but it's a safe space.
Shout out CrossFit 608.
Shout out 608.
What tips would you share for someone interested in starting CrossFit?
Wow. I would say just come and be patient, and don't be worried about what your score is and all the hype about what people say, because it's so worth it in the end.
I think it has a bad stigma of getting hurt, and people see these crazy videos online, but that is not
it at all.
What it's like.
Not it at all. So I really started CrossFit because I played sports in high school, and I needed something to be competitive and a drive to keep me going. And that's why I started, right? And I started probably young, in my younger 20s. I'm not going to tell you how long ago that was. But, and it has changed and evolved for me on why I go and the reasoning and what I'm getting out of it, what I want out of it every year. Every year it changes. Even now that I'm a mom, it's completely changed from what it was 2 years ago.
Right.
So come and just give it a chance for the community. I mean, there's so much. I have so many friends that are afraid to do it. I think that's what it really is people are afraid.
Yeah.
So then they have this, they kind of pick fun at it. And I'm like, no, you can say it's our cult and you can joke around about it. But you're just jealous because you want to be a part of it.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I was just saying so I recently moved to Janesville and all my friends are from the CrossFit gym. And it's cause it's a lot of like-minded people, you know, that just want to show up and work hard. And
we know how to have fun too, though.
Yeah.
We sure do.
Gosh. Yes. And it's such a good community. And even just getting a good workout is not even the best part of it.
Sometimes
can just go
you
there.
Don't even realize that you're getting into, and then it's 3, 2, 1, and you're like, oh, what am I doing?
What's the workout? Yeah. It has been one of the most positive things. And like you said, it changes. I started because I didn't really like school sports. So, and I wanted a way to continue to get strong and be healthy. And so I did it. And then, then it was more about the community. And now it's trying to stay fit for being a mom.
Yeah. Just functional fitness.
Yeah. And it really is. And we have people that are 75 that come and then, college kids. So
100%. I think for a while there was a couple high school kids.
Yeah.
Some of the,
Yeah. And now a lot of people are bringing their kids who are in grade school still.
You bet.
Yeah.
We're going to have a generational coming through with all the kids that have been sitting in the kids' room and watching for years. But I think it's definitely something worth trying and coming, not having to worry about what you need to do every day. I think is huge because people, will go to the gym and they're like, oh, what do I feel like doing today? We don't have a choice. We go in and
it's already
Eric
written
says,
up on the board.
This is what it is. And it kind of makes you, it pushes you to do things that might be uncomfortable, but in the long run, it's worth it. And you're working things that you wouldn't just go in and do your bicep curls if you like that, or just doing straight cardio. Cause I liked cardio and that was it. Not using any weights. I'm so grateful at this point in my life. Women, it's a huge part to keep muscle for bone density, all that. And, I'm grateful for it. So.
Yeah. And you're so on point. I think a lot of people are scared of the gym because they're like, well, I don't know what to do. And I'm going to be there forever. And I know people that go to the gym for 3 hours and it's CrossFit, you show up, you're there for an hour, the workouts, you're in and out and you get such a good workout in. And
it might be a 7-minute workout. We've all known this. It might be a 7-minute workout and it probably burned more calories in that 7 minutes than you could go to the gym in
2 hours.
Yeah. It's insane. So, yeah.
Well, Amanda, this has been such a valuable conversation. Thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your insight. For anyone listening who's thinking about buying, refinancing, or just wants to understand their options, this is the kind of conversation you want to have early. Amanda, where is the best place for people to connect with you and start that process?
You can reach out to me, my email at aschwartz@bhccu.org or my phone, 608-314-1307, or our website at www.bhccu.org.
Thank you again for joining us. We really appreciate your time and your expertise.
Thank you. It's been fun.
My tip of the month, and I think we've talked about this a couple times today, you don't know what you don't know. Everything from when it comes to selling your home, buying a home, or starting in the real estate industry. We would love to talk to you more about all things real estate, from the many career options in real estate to guiding you through selling or buying your home. We appreciate you listening. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to follow Listed wherever you get your podcast.